So many of these people have these empty platitudes that they have to experience life firsthand to know how empty they are. Like, have you tried communicating? Did you try this? Maybe if you just soften your tone a little bit. They have to live a little bit more to know and understand that you can't gentle parent a man into doing the right thing. Anyways, this woman posted in the 2X chromosome subreddit saying, women shouldn't need a psychology degree just to not even get the bare minimum. Let's check out this post. The introduction made me chuckle a little bit. She says, it was me. I used to say things like, maybe explain to him that you need help with the trash. Try complimenting him when he does do chores. Maybe he just never learned how to communicate. Have you tried helping him? And the classic, if you always do the task first, he doesn't get a chance. Just wait a few more days. We also have to throw in, did you write him a list? She says, I genuinely thought communication would fix everything. I didn't understand that many men simply don't want to do anything. I thought adulthood was something you could talk someone into. I really started seeing the pattern when my girlfriends and sisters got married and had kids. Every story sounded the same. I used to joke, oh, funny, X has the exact same issue with her husband. Why? Until I realized it's not a coincidence, it's a pattern. You can't talk a man into being an equal partner. All the women I know have become communication experts, reading the books, watching videos, going to therapy, learning how to phrase things gently, scheduling calm conversations, checking in if he has the energy to listen, explaining for the 100th time that they need help because they're drowning. Some even ask their men what they need in order to give us equality. And it always goes one of two ways. One, defensiveness. Suddenly he's stressed, misunderstood, overworked, planning to do the thing any minute now, and somehow you are the problem for bringing it up. Two, the illusion of a good conversation. He apologizes, says he'll work on it, promises to try harder, gives you a big hug and a kiss, and throws a few compliments your way, and nothing changes. The same conversation repeats in 2 months. When I finally told my ex that I no longer believed his chore promises, I was terrified I sounded like a nag. He'd always promised to do some type of chore that evening or weekend, and he never ever did. At some point, it even triggered a stomachache whenever he declared he was going to clean, because I knew I was being lied to right in my face. I rehearsed every sentence, made it soft, neutral, careful. All I wanted was a clean kitchen and shared responsibility. And still he got irritated. Still he made it about his stress, his intentions, his feelings. I was at fault for not giving him the benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, my friends have changed their entire way of speaking. Not, could you vacuum, but can you please make the floor crumb-free and clean? Because otherwise he'll do it for 2 minutes and call it done. What? You asked me to vacuum and I did. Not do the dishes, but please empty the dishwasher, load it, dry everything, and wipe the counters just to prevent the inevitable half-assing. Even then, he complains it's condescending. But you wouldn't be specific. But if you wouldn't be specific, he won't do it and say he just doesn't see what needs to be done. I'm so tired. Tired of women bending over backwards and basically earning a psychology degree just to get the bare minimum. Tired of men communicating like teenagers, denying, deflecting, defending, or agreeing to everything just to end the conversation. Tired of being told we didn't communicate clearly enough, even though we do all of these tasks ourselves every single day without needing a PowerPoint presentation. I've been single for a while now. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. I'd love to meet an emotionally mature man who can have a real constructive conversation, but they seem rare. Sometimes they even flip our communication skills into an insult. You're not always right. You just know how to talk better than me. And then what? Do they read up on communication? Do they initiate conversations to improve the relationship? Do they watch videos on how to talk better? Or, God forbid, do their fair share of work? No, nothing, because they don't want to. That's exactly right. You cannot gentle parent these people. You just can't. They're either going to want to do these things and make things fair in the household, they're going to want to make things work, or they're just going to simply feel entitled to your labor. Many of them are colonizers of women's time, energy, and resources. They see you as being here to serve them. And anything outside of that, any kind of work that they have to do, that's a punishment or something. That's them being outside of their role. Their role is to take, yours is to give. Get it? Get it? That's There's no communication into talking to these people that are colonizers of your times, that are parasites, that are energy vampires. They are here to attach to you and suck your, once again, time, energy, and resources, and have a few orgasms while they're at it. Let's look at some of these comments. Mawkish says, amazing how after the fact, there's always some magical collection of words that you could have said that would have made all the difference. They genuinely believe this, boggles the mind. And also the pick-me's believe this as well. The pick-me's believe that you're just being masculine. You're just being too much. You're just asking too much. You're not just submitting and doing your natural role. It's not just the men that buy into this. It is the pick-me type of women. Juan Understand Me says, if I just used the right spell, he'd have morphed into a functioning adult or something. And then Boar's More Silent says, you were missing goat's blood for the ritual. This time is the charm for sure. You'll sacrifice the goat. Blood will spray across his face. The patriarchy demon will fly screaming out of the chimney and will suddenly awaken, turn to you and say, I've been saying I love you while treating you as less than human. I am so sorry. I don't know what possessed me. This is precisely how it has to happen. She's missing the goat's blood. Someone's going to have to clue me in on what Rich Education is speaking on, because she's being kind of specific. She says, at this point, the only potion that might help is hydrangea leaf tea. I saw this. I went looking. I didn't see that this is used as a way to help disappear your spouse, but somebody is going to have to weigh in for me. The person at the bottom says, this has me dying. Junior at the top says, except those words were already said over and over. What was actually missing was a credible belief on their part of any real consequence for ignoring us. The old doctrine of the permanent level of tolerable unhappiness in the woman tells them that women just complain. It's what women do, and they don't have to listen or take it seriously. The Overfluff says, I'm a therapist. The sad part is that women are conned into believing this too, and that's often why they bring their partners to couples therapy. The women think it's their fault they haven't found the right magic spell to get through to their partners, and they hope I will know it. And then Tiny Galaxy says, it's because we simply can't imagine someone we care deeply about not caring about us. It's an ego death to admit that. He says he cares, so I desperately want it to be true. It all stems from the patriarchy teaching us that our value comes from men. So if he says he cares, I must believe it to be true, or I am worthless. It took me years to undo that damage and find my value somewhere other than in my partner, so I could actually accept that he didn't value me. I wish there was a spell that we could cast to break this very thing for other women. And that's the reason why I speak on this stuff daily, because I do want us to value ourselves more than we do relationships, because that will help you walk away when something isn't quite serving you. Tangled Up Puppeteer says, and even after months of couples counseling about how he needs to step up and has continued to fail to do so, he was blindsided when she's had enough, and it was the therapist's fault for taking her side. Couples counseling isn't going to work. It's not going to work. You can give them the fair play cards. You can give them a journal. You can give them a colors by numbers chart. If they don't want to do it, they won't do it. There's no making them do it. They just simply don't want to. And so for that reason, we will continue to say that these dudes need to be lonelier until they can learn how to participate in the home without needing to be parented. Leave them where they lie. All right, y'all, let me know what you think about this one.
Welcome to the Mojo Dojo Casa House. Are you an older gentleman with the emotional range of a brick? Did every woman in your life leave because you weren't like this when we met? Well, congratulations, King. You've unlocked early access to your final destination, the Mojo Dojo Casa House. That's right, a luxurious retirement mega complex, or a moderate residential home for men who still think being right is a personality trait. Here, you'll enjoy top-tier amenities like communal remote control warfare at 5 p.m., daily arguments about thermostats, and unlimited opportunities to tell everyone how things used to be. So, pack your sandals, grab that one polo shirt you refuse to throw away, and come live out your golden years in the only place brave enough to gather you all together. Mojo Dojo Casa House, where the vibes are wrong, but the rent is right.
I was tagged into this post, and the woman that tagged me says, we have a malfunctioning girlfriend appliance. And you can see that based on this title. She says, I stopped doing my boyfriend's share of housework, and now he says I'm punishing him. Doesn't she know that as a girlfriend appliance or a wife appliance, you're supposed to be there to cook and clean? People don't know their roles these days. All right, so she posted this in the Comfort Level Pod. She says, I'm Paige. So Paige is 27 and Dylan is 28. Let's get into the post. She says, I'm Paige and I've been living with my boyfriend Dylan for a year now, maybe a little over a year. We moved in together pretty quick, honestly, but it seemed fine at the time. So here's the problem. I do like 90% of the housework and we both work full time. I'm a physical therapy assistant, so I'm on my feet all day, and I'm exhausted when I get home. Dylan works in IT, works from home most days. I'm doing all the dishes, all the laundry, most of the cooking, cleaning the bathroom, vacuuming, all of it. When I ask Dylan to help, he says, oh yeah, I'll do it later, and then just doesn't do it. Or he says, I don't see the mess the same way you do, which I think is code for I don't care if the apartment is dirty. I've tried talking to him about it so many times. I've made chore charts. I've asked him to just pick a few things to be responsible for. Nothing works. So like 2 weeks ago, I just stopped. Stopped doing his laundry. Stopped cooking dinner for the both of us. I just make food for myself. Stopped doing his dishes. I still clean the common areas because I live here too, but anything that's specifically his, not my problem anymore. Dylan ran out of clean clothes after like 5 days and got mad at me for not telling him he needed to do laundry. I said, you're 28 years old. You know when you need clean clothes. Then he got upset that I made dinner and didn't make enough for him. I said, I'm not your mom. You can make your own food. Now he's saying I'm punishing him and being petty instead of communicating, which made me so mad because I have been communicating for a year. I've asked nicely, I've made lists, I've tried splitting things evenly, nothing has worked. He says if it really bothered me that much, I should have communicated better and that he didn't realize it was this serious. How do you not realize it's serious when someone has been asking you to help with housework for 12 months? Oh, and here's the best part. His mom texted me saying I'm being immature and that Dylan told her I'm refusing to take care of the home. I didn't even respond to her because what the F? My best friend says I should break up with him because if he wanted to help, he would. And like, she's probably right. But we've been together for 3 years total and everything else is mostly fine. Dylan says if I would just go back to normal, we can work on the chore thing together. But I don't trust that he'll actually change. Am I being petty or is this literally the only way to get him to understand? So this is where I was tagged in. TG Not as Cerner says, malfunctioning girlfriend appliance. Am I right? So I am not going to go into the comments because there has already been an update. She did this update yesterday. So let's check it out. All right, so there's been 2 days in between these two posts. She says, okay, so I posted a couple of days ago about stopping doing my boyfriend Dylan's share of housework after a year of him not helping. The responses were like 80% break up with him and 20% give him a chance to change. So yeah, here's what happened since then. Dylan did 1 load of laundry, just his work clothes, left everything else in the hamper. I guess he figured out how the washer works, so that's something. But he didn't fold anything, just left it in the dryer for a day until I needed to use it and had to take his stuff out. He also did the dishes once, but only his dishes from that day. Didn't touch the dishes that had been piling up from before, so our sink still has like 4 days worth of his cups and plates in it. And then he ordered takeout for himself for dinner and didn't ask if I wanted anything, which, like I said, I wasn't cooking for him anymore, so fair, I guess, but it felt weird. We had a huge fight last night because I brought up his mom texting me. He said he didn't tell her to do that and she's just worried about him. I asked why she's worried about her 28-year-old son having to do his own laundry, and he got defensive. He said I was making him look bad to his family by complaining about this. I wasn't complaining to his family. His mom texted me. Then he said something that really bothered me. He goes, "You knew I wasn't good at household stuff when we moved in together," which, first of all, he's not good at it. He's just not doing it. And second, when did I agree to be his maid forever? I asked him if this is really how he sees our future, and he says, "I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of chores." My best friend came over this morning. Dylan was in the bedroom playing video games, and she was like, "Paige, look at this apartment. Look at your life. Is this what you want?" And God, I just started crying because no, it's not what I want, but I love him and we've been together 3 years and everyone keeps saying relationships take work. But she says relationship takes work means like communicating and compromising, not one person doing all the labor while the other person plays Xbox. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to give him more time because he did do laundry once, but part of me knows one load of laundry in 2 days is not the flex he thinks it is. My coworker said her husband was like this, and it took him a few months to really get it, but I don't know if I have a few months in me. Oh, and I got another text from his mom this morning asking if Dylan and I are okay and if we need to talk through things as a family. She says, "As a what now?" This is so perfect. This is so perfect because this is how it begins. This is how we get to the point of those other relationship posts that we see on the other side after 10 years have passed and 2 kids have come along and the woman is just so resentful that she is quiet quit or she has just checked out mentally for like 1 or 2 years and then finally just pulled the plug. It starts out like this, where he might do 1 or 2 things for 1 or 2 weeks and it gets better and you get a little bit of hope. And then you're like, okay, I'll give it a try. And then she gives it a try and it still ends up just like the other posts that we keep seeing. This is not going to get better. When you are a girlfriend appliance or a wife appliance, that is simply what you are. You are there as a utility to this person. That's it and that's all. It is not getting better because these people have no reason to change. Their entitlement says that this is that they are supposed to be served, that they are supposed to have a life of leisure. They are labor diggers. It's not about women being gold diggers. These people are labor diggers. You are here to give your time, energy, and resources so that they can have a life of leisure. They are labor diggers. The very first commenter says, "Being in love doesn't mean you can live together happily." Traditional Dig says, "My parents were friends with a couple who lived in 2 separate houses. They were married over 30 years and claimed that approach saved their marriage." Dubs and 49er says, "So he'll just go to her place and make a mess, or he will help there if she cooks." Wonky Fairy Kitty says, "Agreed. OP, you're sharing space with a manfint." Manfint, I like that. A manfint. "This is never going to change. I taught my 2 boys how to clean up after themselves. I decided that as a single mom who was running a residential cleaning business, that no way did I want to spend my weekends cleaning. He's choosing to disrespect you instead of being an actual partner to you. You are the only one who can stick up for yourself." Now we have Opinionated. Opinionated says, "I raised my son to be a self-sufficient, independent, responsible adult. When he got his first apartment, it was clean. His laundry was done. His refrigerator had good food in it to make decent meals, and occasionally a 6-pack. He paid his bill and put a little away for a rainy day. He is a thoughtful, considerate person who tries to be an asset to society. He is a great husband and super dad, and his children learn independence and responsibility. Proud to call him my son. Children learn by examples, and some parents overlook that their children will eventually become adults and need basic living skills for survival, or end up like this immature, spoiled, and entitled person, expecting others to shoulder everything because they sadly don't know any better or have been allowed to choose other priorities. Video games are more important than becoming a good partner and sharing household responsibilities. Now, the other side of this is OP continuing to enable his poor behavior, and more than likely there are other red flags that establish that this is not a solid, healthy relationship. Relationships are built on a myriad of factors and need honesty and transparency, with serious discussions to determine if both people are on the same playing field, at least with the basics of respect, trust, and communication. He doesn't respect your wishes to live in a mutually clean environment. He broke your trust by running his mouth to mommy, and communication seems to be useless because he doesn't want to listen, compromise, or change. Time for OP to have the conversation, because without intervention, couples therapy, he is clueless. Last person you need to help the situation is the mother who raised and enabled him to turn out how you've experienced living with him. Hope you can find a solution and determine if this is the life you want to live for years to come. How would children fit into his small world? Something to seriously consider. Now, the part that I disagree with is the part where she says he is clueless. This man is not clueless. He sees things. He just doesn't feel like he has to do anything because he feels entitled to her labor. Even though she is working and providing for the household as well, he still feels like he deserves a servant. Y'all go ahead and chime in. I'm leaving it there. Like, comment, and share. This woman received a text from her ex saying, "You just can't accept your sexual value has decreased." This man is trying to nag her into what? I don't know. But he says, "You just can't accept that your sexual value has decreased." She posted this in the Dating Over 40 subreddit. Let's look at this very short post. She says, "This one is so absurd, it makes my brain implode. I was commenting on a post here this morning when an ex decided to send me this unhinged text. I believe he's been snooping around and seeing the success I've had on my own since I stopped dating and cut everyone off who disrespects me. It's December 1st and it's a gorgeous day in my condo. Maintenance graciously came and fixed a bunch of grout and other things I needed. I got client bookings for my sugar-free bakery for the holidays. I am the happiest I've ever been single. While they sit there and think of these delusional insults, it's disgusting, degrading, and every time these men prove exactly why I'd rather be free. My block list is becoming longer than the Epstein list." They really do believe that insulting women, negging women, like doing these these stupid shaming tactics is going to push women to want to have relationships when women are pulling back. They're pulling back on purpose and pouring into themselves. They're pouring into their businesses, their hobbies, their friends, and they are genuinely finding happiness outside of romantic relationships. And the dudes are failing and flailing. And instead of just treating women with some dignity and respect and some humanity, they just refuse to do that. Like, let's just keep on insulting and degrading women. This whole sexual market value that the manosphere and the red pillars think, they're just going to keep using this, and it's not working. And they don't know how to change course and just start treating women as equals instead of a thing that needs a rating. They are just going to continue to treat women like some object to behold. And at the bottom, I said, they are so lonely, and many deserve to be lonelier. And I'm glad that he didn't disturb her peace. All right, let's look at some of the comments. Crazy Cat Lady Rookie says he cannot accept the realization that women aren't just falling onto his D on demand. The extinction burst in all its glory, ladies. And then she does a little Praise hands. And then we have the OP saying the extinction burst. I needed this laugh today. Thank you. And I do believe that they are acting out and getting angry because they're not able to just use their words to push women to be desperate for relationships anymore. It's not working. So the way they are coming about it, you can just feel the desperation in all their words. At the bottom, this person worldwide says, the irony in him reaching out to you to tell you this is absurd, let alone the neg nature of it. It isn't as if you were reaching out to him and he rejected you. I interpret this as, I'm pissed that we're no longer seeing each other and I'm going to take it out on her. I'm sure he must have been a real fun one to date. Bullet dodged. Love Starved B says, imagine reducing everyone around you to units of value, sexual or otherwise. I wonder why men are lonely. And then the OP says, yes, exactly. This is the strangest part. I am a human with a soul. It screams social credit score, but sexual. It deeply concerns me that men are even thinking this way. They are thinking this way, and they are teaching it to the younger people. The teenage boys are saying these types of things to girls. They are rating women and girls, and it is so dehumanizing, but they won't shift gears, and it's repelling women and girls. They really need to stop this, but they don't seem to know how to do that. Hotel Lobby Magazine says, I found out that an employee I have to interface with daily keeps a spreadsheet of the women in our industry who he has hooked up with and their numerical ratings and notes regarding their performance, body unclothed, and what he was able to get them to do. I can't fire him for this because it's his personal document, not on work machines, but I'm making my way through getting 3 HR related incidents on record so I can get him off my team. Addendum Tiny says, oh my God, this is no excuse, but please tell me he's under age 30. She did not respond. Original Stan says, have you ever worked with men? They're disgusting creatures, all the same boring crap too. One of my first jobs as a kid out of high school, the men ranked all the female servers hottest to least hot. They tell me that I was in the top 3 as if I'd be flattered. Guess what? After university and my first real corporate job in finance, the men there did the same thing, and the men were various ages, some married. Jabaibai says, I don't think they ever grow out of that mindset. The men who mature with age were already decent humans even when they were younger. Once I figured this out, I felt more comfortable ruling out anyone older than me. Original Stan says, exactly right. It's like when people say money corrupts, absolutely. But I subscribe more to someone having more money can bring out even more generosity in some, while amplifying bad behaviors in those that were already bad people to start with. It's not the money, it's the person. I believe that as well. All right, this next person says, I remember girls being ranked and recorded on the wall in the boys' bathrooms in junior high school. They start young and do not mature. Masked Air says, that's pathetic. His existence hinges on trying to push you down because he understands that you're a better human being than him. It's patently false, but having sexual value itself is degrading when it's entities like him doing the valuing. Good riddance and congratulations on your life. The OP says, thank you. This sub has been a very sacred place on the internet for me. And I'm glad that women do have these spaces to have these types of conversations and get support, get these virtual hugs, and so that we can speak on how this is dysfunctional on their parts. And we should not feel any type of shame or feel any type of negativity regarding how they talk to us, because they are the ones that are damaged. I'll end it there, but I just wanted y'all to see a woman overcoming all of that and how other people are running in to have these conversations, these virtual hugs, and create community. And I want to continue to be that space for us to have community. I want us to be able to survive and thrive and help each other and support each other to survive and thrive, no matter the relationship status. You can be in or out of a relationship, but I want women to still have community, pour into themselves, pour into ourselves, pour into other women and girls, so that we don't lose ourselves and become a husk of a person where, you know, they're just a shell of themselves at the end of the relationship. Let's make sure that we're able to keep some of ourselves and not give everything to someone else or your family or an organization or the church or your job or whatever. Keep yourself. Don't lose yourself in these relationships or outside entities. Let me know what you think about all of this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
Social media has not ruined marriage. Social media has only shown us what marriage truly is. Another creator on here said so beautifully that the younger generation is 2 seconds away from witnessing their single, child-free, cat lady aunties as they're passing away, surrounded by friends and family and community, the people who love and support them. So they didn't have these miserable lives. They weren't alone. All of the things that they try and use to convince young girls that marriage is the only way to have a fulfilling life, they're about to witness it for themselves, that they have more options than they thought was available. That's going to be a game changer, because realizing that if you are on the fence, if you want to get married, go ahead and get married. But for those who don't, stop making it seem like that's the only way to have a beautiful life.